Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and today we're going to be looking at the media and how no matter how low your expectations may be, when it comes to journalists, they're never quite low enough. This is Anderson Cooper, host of AC 360 on CNN. Anderson isn't exactly going to lie to us, but he isn't going to tell us the whole truth either.
She's not my type. That is what the President of the United States has just said about the woman who says he sexually assaulted her. She's not my type, which is what one says when a friend tries to fix you up. Not my type. It's not what anyone really says when accused of what amounts to rape.
While the president did say his accuser, E Jean Carroll, was not his type, that's not his only statement on the matter. In fact, the day the story broke as a result of Carroll's new book, President Trump was asked about this and answered. Anderson didn't exactly lie. He did report on what the president said. He just left out a very important part. The part where the president issued a direct and immediate denial that didn't say jack shit about any type. I'm not going to read the whole denial. It's linked below. But CNN reported on this. Anderson knows the president says, "I don't know this lady. This never happened." But he doesn't talk about that part. No. It's all about the type.
Not my type. That is precisely what President Trump just said, and not for the first time either.
He has to make sure that part is drilled deep into your head. Not my type. Why, that's the kind of thing a rapist would say. Don't pay any attention to the full denial of the allegations that was even reported on by his own fucking network. See, that's irrelevant. Not my type is all that matters here. Well, that and other unsubstantiated claims.
She's not my type. He just said this about his 15th and latest accuser, and we begin tonight with her account of the alleged sexual assault that she says she endured at his hands. And that alone should be compelling enough. At any other time, it would be. Yet today, it's also part of a larger and more troubling story of collective indifference. Somehow, and we'll explore the reasons why, the fact that the president has been accused 14 other times of unwanted sexual advances or outright sexual assault has numbed people to just how abnormal this is, these kind of accusations. When Bill Clinton was accused 2 decades ago, it shook the country.
Oh my God. Hold up there, Sparky. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Rumors of Bill Clinton sexually assaulting women were dismissed immediately. They were bimbo explosions and hidden until a semen-stained dress turned up in Monica Lewinsky's closet. Fuck, even Monica's claims of consensual sexual activity with Bill were dismissed until DNA results came back proving that the crunchy stain wasn't spinach dip, but was in fact the Commander-in-Chief's little swimmers. Monica was dragged through the mud not only by the Clinton machine, but by a complicit press. She was absolutely destroyed. And that was the consensual sex. The stories of sexual assault still haven't been covered with any real diligence. Your credible witness we're about to hear from has an outfit she kept for 25 years and a story less believable than the rug you're wearing. Invoking the ghost of Clinton penis past while peddling what can only be described as an obviously fictional tale from a woman trying to sell a book by accusing the current president of rape is low even for CNN. Let's take a look at her actual story. She claims she ran into the president at a high-end store in New York back in the 90s. She says he asked her to try on some skimpy outfits, but that she thought it would be funny if he put it on. And on that basis, she went to the dressing room with him where this happened.
The moment the dressing room door is closed, he lunges at me, pushes me against the wall, hitting my head quite badly, and puts his mouth against my lips. I am so shocked I shove him back and start laughing again. He seizes both my arms and pushes me up against the wall a second time. And, as I become aware of how large he is, he holds me against the wall with his shoulder and jams his hand under my coat and pulls down my tights. I'm astonished by what I'm about to write. I keep laughing. The next moment, still wearing correct business attire, shirt, tie, suit jacket, overcoat, he opens the overcoat, unzips his pants, and, forcing his fingers around my private area, thrusts his penis halfway, or completely, I'm not certain, inside me. But it turns into a colossal struggle. I'm wearing a pair of sturdy black patent leather 4-inch Barney high heels, which puts my height around 6'1", and I try to stomp on his foot. I try to push him off with my one free hand. For some reason, I keep holding my purse with the other. And I finally get a knee up high enough to push him out and off, and I turn and open the door and run out of the dressing room. The whole episode lasts no more than 3 minutes. I do not believe he ejaculates. I don't remember if any person or attendant is now in the lingerie department. I don't remember if I run for the elevator or if I take the slow ride down on the escalator. As soon as I land on the main floor, I run through the store and out the door. I don't recall which door, and I find myself outside on 5th Avenue.
That story alone should be enough for us to call bullshit. Somehow a man in full business suit with an overcoat, managed to get not only her tights down with one hand, but to get his penis out and in her with that same hand as she's standing up struggling with him, no. That should be enough for any reasonable person to go, this didn't happen. You could even think, yes, she still got raped, but this story has giant fucking holes in it. But this is CNN, and giant holes in a story, that's not enough to stop them from trying to smear the president. Now, before we get to Anderson Cooper's interview with her, we're going to look at an interview earlier in the day on the same network with Alison Camerata.
It is beyond sexual. I mean, legally, he raped you.
Legally, he raped you. Not according to your allegation, he raped you. Legally, he raped you. Ah, the joys of unbiased reporting. This is CNN.
I don't use the word. I have difficulty with the word. I
you think
see it as a fight.
Yes.
I don't,
I understand, but you see it as a fight and you don't want to be seen as a victim, and I totally get that.
Don't want to be seen as a victim because I quickly went past it. It was a very, very brief episode of my life. Very brief. I am not faced with sexual violence every single day like many women around the world. And so, yes, I'm very careful with that word.
I understand.
I like you will use it.
Well, here's the situation. I understand that you don't want this to define you, of course, who would? But I'm saying legally, it was rape. It's unambiguous. What you describe in the book, it was rape. And that actually goes further than the 15 women who came forward during the campaign, who to say that they describe situations very similar to what you experienced. Him getting them into a room, him pinning them against a wall, him forcing a kiss on them. But yours actually goes further in terms of being legally rape.
We see two things in this clip. One, this woman's crazy. By any definition, somebody jamming their penis in you against your will is rape. But we also have Alison desperate to make sure that this woman understands this was rape. He raped you. The president, like those other 15 women, he raped you. Because this is CNN and they desperately need Donald Trump to be the worst person ever. So here's what we have. An unbelievable story and this woman already showing signs she's crazy. Which leads us back to Anderson Cooper later that night.
I want to begin just by asking you about the latest thing that the president has said just short time ago. He gave an interview to The Hill. He said, I'll say it with great respect. Number one, she's not my type. Number two, it never happened. It never happened, okay?
Did you catch number two there? It never happened. It never happened, okay? Did you hear Anderson mention that anywhere at the beginning of this? No. I wonder why that is.
I love that. I am so glad I am not his type. I am so glad. This was 20 years ago. And I probably was, at that moment, in that 5 minutes, the most attractive woman in Bergdorf's. In that one bit of time.
And you think that's what it was about for him?
I don't know what it was about. We were having a high old time. You remember Donald Trump, hail fellow, well met, walking up and down the streets of New York, greeting everybody. Everybody liked him.
You're talking about 1995,
96.
95, 96, back before Donald Trump knocked out CNN's candidate for president. We're going to skip forward for a little bit because, well, she repeats a lot of stuff we've already heard. We're going to get to the full-on crazy.
And I said 52, and he said, you're so old.
He said that?
Of course. He said, you're so old. And shortly after that, he said, I know, lingerie. Or he could have said, underwear.
So you meet up with Donald Trump, and his reaction to your age is, you're so old, I want to see you in underwear. What the fuck? Don't worry, guys. It gets even worse.
And this is not a question I would normally ask, and if you don't want to answer, I totally understand. But given the prior accusations, which have all been of forms of assault or harassment, you're saying there was actual penetration.
Yes.
Did you, which puts it into a different category of any of the other women who have come forward. I think that is the definition of rape. One definition.
That's the definition. Yes.
Now you might be thinking here, well, that's not so bad. She finally admits this could be rape. And then it just kind of ends. Which is actually the weird part here, because this interview went on. On CNN's YouTube site, this is where they ended it. But in reality, there were a couple more minutes. I had to dig it up elsewhere, and the link is below so you can see the whole thing in its entirety if you'd like.
Did you, puts it into a different category of any of the other women who have come forward. I think that is the definition of rape. One definition.
That's the definition. Yes.
How long?
Brief. Mm-hmm. Brief, because when a woman is stamping her feet,
that's what you were doing. You started stamping your feet.
I always think back and think, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done. I should never have done it. And then I didn't behave.
When you say I should have never done it, you mean?
That was just a dumb thing to go into a dressing room with a man that I hardly know and have him shut the door and then be unable to stop him. And I was a competitive athlete, so I wasn't I didn't freeze. I rose to the occasion, and it did not last long. And that's why I don't use the word you just used. I use the word fight.
You don't use the word rape?
Sexual violence is in every country, in every strata of society, and I just feel that so many women are undergoing sexual violence. Mine was short. I got out. I'm happy now. I'm moving on. And I think of all the women who are enduring constant sexual violence. So this one instant, this one, 3 minutes in this little dressing room, I just say it's the fight. That way I'm not the victim, right?
I promise I'm not just padding the video here, guys. I wanted you to see everything CNN cut. I believe the portion we just watched was cut because, well, that's victim blaming. You're not allowed to say women shouldn't put themselves in any danger. But that's not the bad part of this. Strap in. Here comes the crazy.
I'm not the victim.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Yep, you heard her right. Most people think of rape as sexy. Sexy! She actually said that. And Anderson was like, oh fuck, we need to go to break. We'll talk to you later. But we're not actually going to talk to you later. Actually, this was the end of Miss E Jean Carroll. You can still find a few random articles here and there about her, but for the most part, the news has dropped her like a hot fucking potato. Nobody wants to deal with this crazy bitch. Which is fine. But if they'd paid attention at the beginning, they would have saw the story was fucking stupid. It made no sense. Physically, it made no sense. Try taking the tights off of a woman while you're standing up and she's willing. Just go try it. Find a woman who will let you do it. See how easy it is to get tights down with one hand standing up. But the news media couldn't wait for this story. Here's a woman telling them what they wanted to hear. Donald Trump is a rapist. And CNN could not wait to get her on. They had her on twice. Earlier in the day, she already told him she didn't think it was rape. She told him earlier in the day she didn't think this was rape. Allison had to explain to her, yeah, that's rape. You might have noticed there at the end, she told Anderson, no, this was absolutely rape. But CNN doesn't care. And that's the point. It doesn't matter if the story's true. Did you see how much they were trying to push the 15 other women bullshit? The 15 other women with credible allegations just like yours. Her allegations weren't credible to begin with if you paid attention. This is why Donald Trump calls you fake news. This is why CNN has ratings lower than Nickelodeon. Although it might be Home and Garden I'm thinking of. I forget which all channels are kicking their ass, but there's a ton of them out there. But it's not just CNN. Most newspapers out there ran this as a front page story. The New York Times actually came out and apologized for not doing so. Look, we know that there's bias in media, and it's probably impossible to get rid of it. But far too many of our news organizations right now seem to only have one agenda. And it's not telling the truth. It's trying to smear Donald Trump no matter what, no matter how unbelievable the story is. And that's a problem. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this one. Don't forget, if you'd like to pick up Monkey merchandise, there's a link below. I also have Patreon and Streamlabs if you'd like to donate to the channel. I stream a lot, a whole lot, and if you'd like to watch any of that, the links for those are below as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the Ranting Monkey, and I'll see you next time.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
Your life makes me sad and confused.
Fuzzy Monkey's awesome!